Welcome into a Thursday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao and Maurice Patton here with you on this Preps Thursday edition. We have plenty of exciting stuff to talk about, from preps all the way to pros.
It's kind of what we do.
It is what we do. I'm looking forward to this one. Will Hester is going to join us, Ravenwood football coach Will Hester, as they get ready for the Battle of the Woods.
Raven and Brent.
Brentwood will travel across the interstate and come on over for a big region tilt to determine the region champion. So that'll be fun. Talk to them. We'll also talk with Mike Wallace of the Memphis Grizzlies pregame show, but talk to him about what to expect from these Grizzlies this season, because it is starting to feel like low expectations. So will they live up to our low expectations, Mo? That's the question.
The expectations have been lowered this week. Obviously,
They have.
I
They have
think
indeed.
they're kind of adjusting to a new normal, if last night was any indication. So.
Well, we're looking forward to talking to Michael a little bit. We'll also talk with Terry McCormick, of course, ahead of the Titans deal today and throughout the weekend before they get ready for the Falcons, who are sporting some new facial hair. Apparently, there's a good reason for it, but the Falcons coaching staff are all donning mustaches these days. So yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, plenty of great stuff to get to. We're going to do that now. But first, yesterday's results, today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
The Thursday Rundown is brought to you by Mockingbird Title and Escrow, an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee that will get your deals closed without worry and fuss. A family business that offers the highest level of expertise in the industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions. Consider them part of your team. Call 615-274-8698 or visit mockingbirdtitletn.com today.
All right, girls soccer action. Station Camp is a 3-0 winner over Franklin County. It was Signal Mountain 4, Hume Fog 3. Liberty Creek advances with a 4-0 win over Lakeland. Merrill Hyde 3-0 over Madison Academic. Ravenwood doubles up Brentwood 2-1. Franklin 3-0 winners over Walker Valley. And earlier today, Harpeth Hall downs Innsworth 2-1. College football last night, Jacksonville State a 41-16 winner over FIU, ensuring a winning season in the Gamecocks' first year as FBS members. Texas El Paso with the comeback win. Sam Houston blows it again, man. That's tough. 37-34 over the Bearcats. And in NBA play, the Pelicans were down 28-25 after the first quarter. From there, they took full advantage of the Grizzlies to take a 111-104 win in NBA.
High school football tonight. All of these are 7 o'clock kicks, to the best of our knowledge. Lincoln County is at Columbia Central. Franklin Grace Christian is at Columbia Academy. Watertown visits Community. Donaldson Christian hosts Nashville Christian. Eagleville takes on visiting Cornersville. Stratford is at East Nashville. White House Heritage goes to Fairview. Spring Hill travels to Franklin County. Glencliff takes on visiting Lawson. Hendersonville making the long trip to Paris, taking on Henry County. Centennial is at Hillsborough. Boiling Springs goes to Joe Burns. Overton hosts Franklin. Maplewood hosts Republic. Brentwood Academy is at Montgomery Bell Academy. Ezel Harding is at Middle Tennessee Christian. Richland goes to Moore County. Nolensville is at Page. Portland hosting Hunters Lane. Webb School of Bell Buckle. Portland.
Got nothing.
Okay. Beach is at Springfield, and Sycamore goes to Stewart.
Girls soccer today, Ravenwood and Collierville at 3 Central, Merrill Hyde and Westview, same time at 5:30 tonight. It's Franklin Bearden, Kingston and Liberty Creek, and South Gibson and Station Camp. NFL action tonight, Thursday Night Football. It's the Buccaneers at the Bills. That's a 7:15 kick on Amazon Prime. NBA play tonight. Sixers at Milwaukee at 6:30 on TNT. Lakers hosting the Suns at 9 on TNT. College football, Syracuse is at Virginia Tech at 6:30 on ESPN. On the Deuce at 6:30, Georgia State at Georgia Southern in a little Fun Belt action. And in college basketball, an exhibition tonight over in Cookeville as the Firehawks of UT Southern out of Pulaski will take on Tennessee Tech at 7:30. And you can see it on ESPN+. That is, folks, your rundown. This top story, just as it is every day, is brought to you by our friends at Piggly Wiggly, the Neely's Mill Shopping Center location here in Columbia, but any Piggly Wiggly from across the mid-state, make sure to go see them. Here in Columbia, you can get great deli foods at lunchtime, meat and vegetables, etc. Also cobblers, which are delicious, hand-cut meats, great produce, all cost plus 10 at the register. Well, our top story today, we kind of mentioned this, Tuesday, that Dusty Baker was likely to retire. It's now official. And my question to you is, what logo will go on his cap in Cooperstown?
Well, I feel like it probably has to be the one that he won a World Series with.
That was kind of my thought, but didn't happen with Fred McGriff.
Oh. I mean, that's my logic.
It's great logic.
And he took 5 teams to the postseason as a manager. Played primarily with the Dodgers. I don't think it would be the Dodgers because he's going in as a manager. I mean, he's one of a handful of guys who has won 2,000 games over his managerial career. When he goes in, it'll be as a manager. He ranks 9th all-time with 2,183 victories. One of 12 managers to win 2,000 career games and the first African-American manager to do so. I mean, and of the other 11, 10 are in the Hall of Fame. Bruce Bochy, College Grove resident Bruce Bochy, is not, because he is still active. So I don't think there's any question he's going in. Like you said, I think the only question is, what hat will he wear? And I don't like nothing.
I don't
on
like
the
nothing
cap.
either.
I think it's a cop out.
It is a little bit of a cop out. Yeah, it's not.
I mean, they didn't. I guess Maddox didn't have anything on his cap, right?
I don't think so.
I don't like it.
And
I mean,
Maddox,
I don't-
Maddox,
I don't-
it doesn't make sense. Maddox. I know he had great success with the Cubs, but he's a Brave. Everyone associates Greg Maddox with the Atlanta Braves.
Rightfully so.
Everyone except maybe some Cubs fans.
And I don't know that Fred McGriff necessarily has that same one team that he's associated with, but I think you have to kind of, plant your flag somewhere. Ask the player, ask the person who their preference is. Make them pick, but pick something. I don't like the nothing on the cap. And like I said, I just think in Dusty's case, for everything he's done, the Astros are who he won a World Series with. So it'll be intriguing to see what direction they go in for Dusty's successor. We talked a little bit about some of the other managerial vacancies when we were talking Tuesday about this. You said yesterday, possibly off air, apparently Craig Counsell has interviewed with the Mets.
Craig Counsell has interviewed, and I think if you interview with time left on your contract, it's a done deal.
Well,
It's a
he
full-
doesn't have time. His contract is up.
He's got 5 days left. This is what I'm saying. I mean, still, they had to ask the Brewers permission,
Or they could have waited 5 more days.
or they
and
could have
not
waited, or
Wait
they
a
could have
minute.
waited 5. This is what I'm saying. So, if the Brewers are giving permission, doesn't sound like they've got any intentions of Craig or any level of confidence that Craig Counsell will return as manager. So it's a done deal. Now, who becomes the Brewers manager? That's the real question.
Obviously, the Padres is open with Bob Melvin's departure to take over the Giants. As we said, the Guardians are open with Terry Francona's retirement at the end of the season. And I wonder who, if anybody, who else makes a move? I mean, who else goes from one team to another? Because I think you're probably looking at some new people, some new blood, other than possibly Counsell, going from the Brewers to the Mets.
Yeah,
I think we're going to wind up with some folks that we're not necessarily familiar with. I don't want to say that we've never heard of. Apparently, former Braves catcher Stephen Vogt is a candidate in Cleveland.
Huh. Okay. Well, former Braves catchers do tend to find their way to the managerial role. I'm a little surprised Eddie Perez hasn't, as long as he was a bullpen coach. And Walt Weiss, I think, is going to be a guy that's probably going to end up getting some looks.
Seems so.
As he should.
Including perhaps in Houston.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I don't understand Buck Showalter with the Angels. I don't understand Buck Showalter at all at this point.
Look, man, I don't know. I don't think It's hard to explain. Buck Showalter is a pretty good manager, but he was dealing with some things in New York that you have to deal with a different way. And I'm not sure that that's the way. I'm not sure that he fits that particular mold, if that makes sense. So I'm curious if, he doesn't have the Phil Jackson ability of managing egos well enough to have the type of team that they had.
There's a lot of shaking hands and kissing babies that has to go on in New York that you may not necessarily have to do in other places. And I'm not sure that Buck is built for that.
Yeah, and being little brother in LA, it's still LA, but you're little brother, so you don't have to do as much kissing hands and shaking babies. Right. And maybe it works. And they're not as talented. I mean, maybe he just needs to be around the team that
doesn't have high expectations.
That needs a little, that needs more coaching and managing rather than, finessing egos.
Well, and that has kind of been his MO, is to get those teams to that next level, and then the next person wins with them. So
who was it? Is it Schottenheimer that would always make the first round of the playoffs and couldn't get anybody past that? I mean, that he just kind of has that similar thought process, I guess. It's just kind of funny. Yeah, man. It doesn't appear that we're going to have a lot more top shifts per se. So I think we will end up with some of these backfills are going to be guys that, are either up and comers or guys that, haven't necessarily managed at the big league level before. I don't know that the Brewers I'm not sure what the Brewers thought process is there.
Yeah. I'm not either. I mean, I don't have any clue what direction they would try to go in, because they are for the success that they've had, they're a relatively young team. I mean, you saw some of the guys that went up from here and impacted their season this past year, Joey Weimer in particular, some young arms.
Sal Frelick. They're probably gonna have Gasser on the big club next year.
You'd like to think. So
even Small could be in that could be in the bullpen. Yeah, I just feel like the Brewers are not a team that need a project or that need to take a leap on somebody as a manager. They need to go get somebody who can manage the team because, they're in a window. They're a good ball club. They won the division.
They're a good ball club in a division that isn't great.
Yeah. And so, that's what I'm saying is that they have the ability to win this division year in and year out. Don't go out there and screw that up.
Right.
With a guy that you're not sure about. So, but I don't know that there's another manager out there who, one, is good enough that you would want to go get, and two, if they are good enough, would they leave?
Right. So
you're kind of in a catch-22 there.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody else necessarily on the staff that warrants consideration. Not.
Well, here in August, Reviewing the Brew put out 5 names. Number 1, bench coach Pat Murphy.
Former Notre Dame coach Pat Murphy.
So if he didn't, if they wanted to give it to somebody who has, understands that team, he'd be one. Mariners bullpen coach Stephen Vogt. There you go. Number 3 on this list,
Nashville Sounds.
Nashville Sounds manager Rick Sleep.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
Number 4, Braves hitting coach Kevin Seitzer.
I've never really thought about him as a manager, but
I mean, he's the hitting coach of Murderers Row. So,
yeah.
And here's one that's a little wild. How about White Sox bench coach Charlie Montoyo? I just don't know that I'm hiring anybody from the White Sox organization.
Yeah,
maybe,
exactly.
Maybe not that.
It's funny. So I'm sitting here scrolling through my Facebook and come across an article from longtime friend John Parado, who covered the Pittsburgh Pirates extensively and is now working for sportskita.com. And he's got an article where he sits down with Christian Yelich regarding the possible managerial change in Milwaukee. And
what does Christian Yelich have to say?
well, a lot of it is culture, knowing what you need to do to win, and obviously having talented players as well. Obviously, having a lot of talented players helps as well, but I think a lot of the culture starts with counts from the first day of spring training, kind of just knowing what needs to be done and what we need to do to be consistently successful. Counts sets the tone. So, sounds like Yelly really wants Counts back. In addition to the Mets, Council has also, I guess Cleveland has shown interest in him. Did you mention that?
No.
Okay. And in this article, it says there is a strong sense within the game that the Brewers would stay in-house and promote bench coach Pat Murphy if Council leaves.
Well, I feel like I think Pat Murphy is a good option. He knows that I guess what the locker room is like. He knows the vibe that they want to keep. So now he did manage the Padres.
Not very well. 42 and 53.
He was there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He was there.
Mm-hmm.
So is that, what you want to do? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, let's take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Coach's Corner hardware that we need to hand out. So stick around. Main Street to Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio in a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you. No matter what's happening in the world, or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao and Maurice Patton here on this Preps Thursday edition of the show. Glad to have you guys with us. Hope that you will stick around throughout the show, as we will be picking 10 of the Mid-State's biggest games, including the one we're fixing to talk about, as well as our game of the week, which is the battle for the borough, Oakland and Riverdale. So we're going to pick 10 games. Make sure to stick around for it. But right now we're going to head to Coach's Corner, where standing by is Ravenwood head football coach Will Hester. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh, we're any time spent with Will Hester is good time. So we appreciate you taking some time, Coach. Big one tomorrow night. You guys are no stranger to it. I mean, it's really kind of throw the records out the window, literally, whenever it's the Battle of the Woods. Coming off of this past weekend and your matchup with Oakland, what do you like about your team heading into that game against unbeaten Brentwood?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've improved from the start of the season. We opened up with Alcoa. That was the test. Kind of saw where we were at. Then we were able to run off 7 wins there along the way, getting to 4-0 in the league. And then went into that matchup with Oakland. Obviously they're going for their 3rd or 4th straight state championship in 6A. And anytime that you're on a barometer to find out where you are in the season, playing Oakland will do that for you. And I believe things didn't turn out the way that we wanted them to, but we did prove to ourselves that's a team that, we can play with, we deserve to be on the field with. And so now we're headed into a game versus another great team, another undefeated team in the state of Tennessee, and the Brentwood Bruins. So excited to allow our kids to be able to play in a matchup like this with so much on the line and so much energy behind it.
You mentioned the Oakland game, 42-18, the final there. Again, proved to yourselves that you deserve to be on the field with them. Oakland has won the last 3 Class 6A state championships. Have they elevated themselves, Will, above everybody else in 6A? Is it them and everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of is, Mo. I mean, for a while it was Maryville that kind of had done that. You know what I mean? I think Oakland's kind of elevated themselves to that pedestal. I mean, definitely the hunted, right? Where all the other ones we're trying to hunt them. So, they are a very talented team. Between Dwayne Morris and some of the other guys that they have on that team, those are definitely playmakers of a high quality, and you have to be prepared when you step on the field against them.
Coach, when you look at this game, obviously Mo said you throw the records out. Well, you can kind of throw the records out, but both of you guys have certainly had plenty of success this season, and it's a game where it's all on the line this week. Of course, you're both guaranteed a home playoff game next week, but that's a region championship still means something. And so, getting your guys prepared shouldn't be too difficult when it's Brentwood coming to town.
Oh, absolutely not. And the way the bracket falls this year, the winner of Region 6, which is what we are, actually locks up home field playoff advantage all the way through their run in the playoffs. So if you're lucky enough to make it to the semifinals, all 4 of those games will be played at your location, played at your site. So clearly, it has a lot of implications there, but the bragging rights among the community, the bragging rights at church, the bragging rights at Chipotle, all that probably trumps the playoffs.
Hold up, not Chipotle.
Oh,
Maybe Moe's.
That's where they all go, man. That's where they meet up. Chipotle.
Really?
Jeez, on purpose and
Oh,
everything.
Chicken and rice, I guess, man. Chicken, rice, and beans.
I mean, they've not talked to AJ Brown. I don't
Yeah,
guess, huh?
clearly.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, before there's a little something extra special in this game, and I don't know if you know this. I don't know if your kids know this or not. This series is tied at 12. So for 300,
know that. I know that it must be with the playoff games added in there because
it is
on the Battle of the Woods trophy that we pass back and forth for the regular season matchup. We are behind a game or two in that, so the playoffs must be the one evening it up.
Yeah, you're 3-1 against them in postseason play is Ravenwood. So that
So there
certainly
you go.
helps.
That makes up the 2 games we're behind. So
Yeah, but overall 12-12. This for 365 days, somebody will have full-on bragging rights.
well, maybe only for 3 weeks because that's a chance we would play each other.
There's
again.
that.
But bragging rights nonetheless.
Will Hester, in his second stint as coach at Ravenwood, joining us here on Coach's Corner here on Coach's Corner on Main Street Sports today. Will, not a lot of names on this team that a lot of people are familiar with. You know, no Jake Brennanstools, no Van Jeffersons, no Chris and Seth Rowlands, that kind of thing. Who's getting it done for this Ravenwood team this time around?
I mean, and that's a great point, Mo. I mean, we are kind of I wouldn't say undervalued, but maybe an under talked about group. I mean, we're playing a bunch of young kids. Us and Brentwood are kind of in polar opposite positions when it comes to that. You know, they're going to roll out 30 seniors. They're going to start 10 of 11 seniors on defense. Our offense is going to start 1, maybe 2 seniors, depending on health. You know, we're going to have a bunch of juniors and sophomores out there, you know, and I think that's a big part of what's allowed us to improve throughout the course of the season. You know, we started out playing a lot of young guys early on, and they've gotten better as the season goes. But, you know, we've got guys, Donovan Starr, who's a junior, picked up a Cal offer last night. He's a name that you're going to hear. Jaden Smithman, the little brother of JT Smithman, who played for us a couple of years ago, also a junior who's getting a lot of interest as well. Ben Hubbard, a guy with several offers, a junior as well. So, you know, our junior class has a little bit more of that name recognition maybe than our senior class does. But nonetheless, we're a young football team.
Talk to me a little bit more about Donovan Starr. Is that DJ's brother?
It is DJ's little brother. Obviously, those guys moved in a couple of years ago. Basketball guys by trade, hadn't played much football, but Donovan's super athletic. You know, he's a 10-7 guy on the track in the 100 meters. You know, getting his first real playing time in football as a junior this year, playing corner for us, has returned a kick or 2 for touchdowns as well, that speed that he has. You know, he's really making a name for himself.
Other guys, you know, obviously, you know, Brentwood coming in with a really solid football team and a pretty big win last week over Independence. Though we did find out there's a tiny asterisk to that a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I don't know how tiny that asterisk is. I would say it's a pretty big asterisk, but yeah, I mean, it was a huge win. You know, you look at that score and you're like, that's an Independence team that we had to fight tooth and nail to win on a field goal at the end of the game to beat earlier in the season. And you're like, wow, that may be Brentwood's most impressive win. But then you pop on the film, you realize that Independence was without some of their star power, namely the quarterback McNeely did not play in that game. And when you're running a triple option offense and the trigger man is not out there, it might slow you down a little bit.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah. But who are some of the guys on this Bruins team that you guys are kind of trying to, make someone else beat you?
Well, absolutely. I mean, obviously, Baylor Hayes, the quarterback that moved in this year, is getting a lot of the recognition. I wouldn't be surprised if his name doesn't pop up on several Mr. Football ballots this year. Doing a great job of kind of Johnny footballing his way around the season and keeping plays alive with his feet and then finding those kind of chorus of great receivers they have, Matthew Manning and there's another Merrill in the mix, Clayton Merrill in the mix. There's even a younger one I think that got moved up from the freshman team. So 2 Merrills out there right now, and then the running backs have done a great job. Trey Doris got hurt early in the year, was having a great season before he got hurt. We believe he to be back this week, and Gavin Nelson has kind of stepped in since he's been injured and doing some really good job on the offense. But, a lot of people are talking about the strength of the team being the offensive line, and that's a very good possibility. Those guys have done a good job all season long, allowing them to throw and run. I think the strength of their team personally is their defense. They've done a great job of holding everybody down throughout the season. It's kind of the mark that Ron Crawford started years ago, right? Brentwood's always kind of been known for playing great team defense, and maybe not the name recognition over on that side of the ball, but a football name nonetheless. Maximus Orifice playing inside linebacker is a force to be reckoned with, and you kind of got Mason Ball who is playing corner for them. He's kind of the emotional, energetic leader of that team on the defensive side of the football. But they're playing really, really sound defense, and we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's if we're going to light up the scoreboard much tomorrow night.
And you talk about lighting up the scoreboard, Will, and their defense being the key. In those 7 wins between your week 1 loss to Alcoa and last week's loss to Oakland, 35-35, 28-49. You mentioned the 16-14 win over Independence, 24-41. So, you guys have lit it up pretty well. How do you continue to do that against this Brentwood defense and give yourself a chance?
Yeah, we're going to have to execute at a high level. The things that have plagued us against the better teams, right, against the Alcoas and the Oaklands and the Independences of the world when it comes to the better defenses that we faced, have been executing in key moments, right? We may have a good first down play and get in a second and medium and then have a penalty or have a missed assignment or have something like that to set a drive back or to kill a drive. We just got to be more consistent on the execution level. We also, the main thing I think for either team in this game is going to be able to control the emotion, right? These guys grew up together. The majority of them probably played Y basketball together. Heck, anybody now starts out playing 5- and 6-year-old soccer together. And, all these kids know each other. And you've got to be able to kind of put the emotion, put the energy that's running through your body because it's people aside and play the game of football and execute your assignment, execute your job without, allowing the emotion that's tied to it to affect you. So I think the team who handles the emotion of the game, handles the fact that there's probably going to be 5,000 people in the stand, handles the fact that, Darren Jones and Tate and their little game day entourage will be there before the game and that we're the TV game this week for My TV 30. There's going to be a lot of reasons to get yourself distracted from playing the game of football, but we're going to have to be the ones that get refocused as quick as possible in order to be successful.
That little game day thing. You don't sound too excited about all of the festivities around the game, Will.
I'm all about just getting to the game, right? Our message this week is we can't play it before it starts, right? We can't get too emotionally invested and too emotionally drained before we ever kick the thing off, right? We're showing up over there. We're going to go through our normal road routine. We're going to dress over at the middle school so we don't have to walk through the pomp and circumstance that we'll be there, tailgating area and all that like most of the road teams do. And, we're going to try to sneak in the back door and play as good as we can and sneak right back out.
How much of an impact does being the TV game make?
Other than make it last longer, I don't know that it impacts everything much. Obviously, there's going to be more timeouts. There's going to be more breaks in the action. I think it helps a little bit kind of calm the game down. You know what I mean? If the game's moving really fast, it's easy for it to kind of spiral out of control one way or the other. So I think the extra added timeouts, the extra added time between quarters and things like that will allow both teams to kind of be able to settle in and kind of take a breath, if you will, and allow the emotion of the game to kind of settle down.
I've always been intrigued because in the high school level, you just don't have that. So, obviously a lot of your kids are going to play at the next level and they'll get used to it eventually. But high school kids don't typically have to deal with, man, we just got some momentum. Now I got to stop for 3 minutes for commercials. Are you kidding me? Like it's interesting how that affects high school kids. But Will Hester here joining us.
It's more than you think, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I was kind of surprised at how it has affected some games at times because of the momentum factor. But anyway, Coach, thanks so much for taking time with us. Good luck. It's going to be a great football game. We're looking forward to keeping up with it.
Sounds great, guys. I appreciate it. And, if you need any help with your pick on the Battle of the Borough, I wouldn't bet against the Patriots.
I don't think anybody with much thought process is going to bet against.
But we certainly do appreciate the insight, Will.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Hey, good luck tomorrow night.
Absolutely. I've seen them. They're huge.
Oh, man. All right. We're going to hand out some hardware now. No, it is the Custom Stone Handlers End-to-End Life Team of the Week. Although they did not hoist a gold trophy, they did hoist a trophy and a pretty great run for this team all the way to the state finals.
Absolutely. Loretto Volleyball finished second in the state in Class A, losing to first-time state champion Sale Creek in the Class A finals over in Murfreesboro last week. Lady Mustangs finishing up 46-8 on the year. And like you said, a great run. Their only two postseason losses came at the state tournament, both to Sale Creek. Yeah, in the double elimination 8-team event. So, it took the best to beat them.
Yeah, well done to Sale Creek, by the way.
Yeah, they had been there. That was their 8th consecutive state tournament appearance, and they finally broke through. So, yeah, congratulations to them, and congratulations to the Lady Mustangs of Loretto, our Custom Stone Handlers Team of the Week.
Mo, the Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint player or athlete of the week goes to the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, Malik, well, he made his mark on defense Friday night against Lawson, scoring twice in the second half. And again, had a 25-yard pick six and then a 71-yard, we'll call it a strip and score, because it wasn't a scoop and score because the ball was never on the ground.
No, he didn't scoop it. He took it.
He took it, literally. I'll take that, and I'll go this way. Yeah. So Columbia Central senior linebacker Malik Smith is our Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint athlete of the week, and congratulations to him.
No doubt. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, more information and evidence continues to surface against Michigan in their alleged sign-stealing operation. Is there evidence linking the probe to South Carolina and perhaps Tennessee and Clemson? We'll discuss after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Maurice Patton here on this Thursday edition. It is a Preps Thursday. We'll be talking a little bit of Preps football later in the show when we make 10 picks on 10 games from across the mid-state. Right now, however, we're going to talk a little bit of college football because not only has more information and more evidence come out, Mo, but the NCAA, according to Larry Lage of the Associated Press, Lage.
I think it might be
Lage.
I'm not entirely sure.
The NCAA is now interviewing members of Michigan's football staff.
It can't be good.
Yesterday, some information came out that the NCAA was tipped off because a third party, maybe investigator, attorney, something like that, was investigating this. And there have been some, fingers pointed as to who may have funded said investigation, such as Michigan State, Ohio State,
Rutgers?
Rutgers. Maybe they all chipped in.
Hey.
But Tennessee's on the list of teams
that may have helped
fund this third-party investigation. That being said, the other part of, or the other, I guess, thought process is that a former member of the Board of Regents at Michigan who was among those who sabotaged Rich Rodriguez was, and apparently does not like Jim Harbaugh, is also potentially behind this. So maybe a little friendly fire. And then maybe the Chicago Bears. After that, well, he's the one who tried to. This guy apparently tried to get the Bears, sabotage the Bears hire of Harbaugh. So this is nuts, man. This is all nuts.
I think you probably need to connect the dots between Tennessee, which is not a member of the Big Ten and has not played Michigan in quite some time.
That's right.
How?
Why Tennessee?
Right. So
Well, let's talk about it.
let's.
Apparently, and inside of context, I can maybe see how this would work. Shane Beamer has a history, a little bit of a shady history, if you will, when it comes to situations such as this. As an assistant at Virginia Tech, he was part of a scheme that included some inside information on Wake Forest. And as part of that, when he went to be on staff at Georgia, they suspended him, as part of it. So Shane Beamer could have been contacted, potentially. This is all hearsay, it's all speculation, but it would certainly make sense in context. Shane Beamer's contacted by Michigan. Hey, we've scouted Tennessee and Clemson. Would you like our information? Because why? Why would Michigan be willing to give this information up? Because you'd much rather play TCU than Tennessee or Clemson, right? I mean, don't make your hindsight foresight, right? You'd much rather play TCU than Tennessee or Clemson. Well, South Carolina can kill two birds with the same information. And South Carolina starts wearing wristbands the night of the Tennessee game on defense. First time they've done it all year. As a conspiracy theorist, admitted conspiracy theorist, putting on all the tinfoil hats, there is a plausible expectation that it could have happened. I'm not saying it did. And I'm not saying that, maybe Spencer Rattler knew every time they were going to be in cover 2, cover 3, man, cover 1, and knew exactly what read to make. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Tennessee's defense was horrible. And there were a lot of other things going on that week that certainly could have played into, the perfect storm of what happened. And if it were just Tennessee, I'd probably say that's ridiculous. There was just too many other things going on. But you throw in what happened to Clemson, and it starts getting a little more plausible.
A little murky.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts? First off, do you think Michigan did it?
I don't think there's any question at this point that Michigan did it.
There's no question. I agree. Okay.
I
We are conceding the fact that Michigan did this.
Yeah.
Someone at Michigan did this, whether Jim Harbaugh knew or not.
I don't think there's any way he didn't know.
No, there's not. He knew. He absolutely knew.
So I guess the question here becomes just how far reaching is this?
Well, Deion Sanders and Matt Rule will tell you still got to stop them. You still got to, execute the play.
But I will say this. I think that's what an opposing coach is supposed to say.
Well,
and I think, it's taking the high road, which I don't think a lot of people expected Coach Prime to do. But I think that's what you're supposed to do. I think that should be the default reaction of any coach when asked about this. They can know what they know. But if we execute, it shouldn't matter what they know. I think.
Yeah, but come on, man. You don't get caught in a,
I think that's what they're supposed to say. I don't think they necessarily need to get caught up in pointing fingers, particularly Deion Sanders, who doesn't even play Michigan.
Right.
hasn't played Michigan, doesn't play Michigan. I got no dog in that hunt. I am totally unaffected by any of this.
At CFB Nerds may have the best sentence in this entire argument against Matt Rule and the comments of Deion Sanders. If it comes down to just stopping plays and knowing what's coming doesn't help, nobody would sign still, and Michigan wouldn't advance scout and risk getting in trouble. If it didn't help, they wouldn't do it. So it clearly helps. It's clearly an advantage, because if it weren't, they wouldn't do it.
They think it's an advantage. But again, my thing is, I don't know what else. What are you supposed to say?
No, I'm just saying that's the fact.
Well,
It's an advantage. And all these Michigan people who are saying, it shouldn't matter, you should have changed your signs. No. If it didn't help, they wouldn't have done it. It's very simple.
I think both can be true. I just don't know. Again, I don't know what you want, particularly Deion Sanders. I mean, Matt Rule, he's in the Big Ten. I don't know if they play Michigan or not. But I don't know what you want him to say. I'm not even sure why he's entertaining that question.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to every media outlet wants to localize the situation, but I mean, unless you play Michigan or
you're Tennessee, apparently.
Or Clemson.
Does it make sense? Do you feel like this happened to Tennessee?
I don't understand necessarily what this happening to Tennessee encompasses. Does this mean that Michigan scouted Tennessee?
That's correct.
And then passed the information along to Beamer or the South Carolina staff, and they had it
Correct.
that night?
Yes. That is what is being danced around by John D. Bryce in footballscoop.com.
Well, I mean, and the explanation being that, again, Michigan would rather match up with TCU than with Tennessee or Clemson.
Correct.
And they knew that, given Shane Beamer's background, this would be information that he would not be opposed to having.
Correct.
It all makes sense.
A to Z Sports, Shane Beamer acknowledged in 2022, weeks before playing Tennessee, that he speaks with coaches from other teams about tendencies and communication. Now, I think that's par for the course. This is what was written in Football Scoop. A source with direct knowledge indicated to Football Scoop that Michigan may have attempted to assist the opposition of a potential college football playoff opponent in an effort to disrupt that team's potential path to the playoff. Say that 10 times fast, by the way.
No, I don't. You remember in high school English, or maybe junior high English, when you used to have to diagram sentences?
Oh, yeah.
How would you like to diagram that one?
No, thank you. Source indicated, subject verb. That's all I got.
And everything else is a modifier, huh?
2016, Georgia fined assistant coach Shane Beamer $25,000 for accepting leaked game plan information 2 years ago while at Virginia Tech from a former Wake Forest assistant coach who has been fired from his job as a radio analyst.
Oh, I remember that. So that would have been in 2014 that actually took place.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, for the first time all season long,
South Carolina wore defensive
defensive
wristbands
wristbands
against Tennessee. Oof. Doesn't look great.
I mean,
The optics are awful.
I'm not saying that it's because, again, maybe they were just looking for offensive signs. Maybe they didn't know the defensive signs. Maybe they did know the defensive signs. I don't know. But the only 2 games in Spencer Rattler's career that he's even looked remotely good are those 2 games.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I'm talking about Power 5 SEC games. I'm not talking about against, the Citadel. He has been fair at best in every other game. And in those 2, he looks like Joe Montana.
But as you said,
Come on.
And I'm not trying to tell you that it didn't happen. I'm repeating what you already said. Tennessee had a lot going on.
They had a lot going on.
And not all of it had to do with South Carolina.
I understand that. But boy, don't it make a lot easier when you know which read is going to be there and you don't have to scan the field? That's why you get the ball out so quick. I don't know, man. It just seems very, very, very sus to me. So anyway, we need to take a quick break because Terry is standing by. So we'll get the Titan Insider Titans report right after this.
He shoots and he scores!
It's the biggest racing show of the year, Friday through Sunday, November 3rd through 5th at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. 6 fast-paced divisions of racing on the quarter-mile Friday night, pole qualifying and 3 big feature events Saturday night, and the Curb Records Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers All-American 400 on Sunday afternoon. Racing starts at 6:30 Friday, 5 o'clock Saturday, and 1 o'clock Sunday. Tickets available at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.racing or at the gate on race day. It's the 39th All-American 400 weekend, Friday through Sunday, November 3rd through 5th. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back in. Time now for the top of the hour Titans report from Terry McCormick. What's up, Terry?
Hey guys, it is your Zen Sports Report, Daily Titan Update. Guys, the Kevin Byard situation has already had some repercussions possibly to the Titans this week beyond just, them trading away and the bad PR that comes with that. Yesterday, Roger McCreary left practice early, tweaking his hamstring, and he wasn't out there during the open part of practice today. So he's the nickelback. If he's not able to go, then that forces them to do some serious juggling, probably involving Elijah Molden, who was going to be the heir apparent to Byard back there at safety. So it juggles things even further in a position group where they're already razor thin. So take it for what it is. We'll see where McCreary is tomorrow and what his status is for Sunday.
Now, Terry, they acquired Terrell Edmonds in the trade.
Terrell Edmonds, and then they also picked up a guy named Kayvon Wallace off waivers from the Cardinals yesterday. Today was his first day there. And they're going to do their best to incorporate at least Edmonds, who's been here for the full week of practices. I think they're going to do best to incorporate him into some sort of role on Sunday. But he's more of a straight in the box safety, not really a cover guy, almost a mini linebacker, which that would help you in the dime package maybe, but maybe not in the nickel package so much, because shifty type receivers often play out of the slot. Guys like Cooper Kupp and such often play in that slot, and you don't want a big guy that can't move quickly covering him. McCrary is the perfect guy to be that nickel back, because he's really a little bit undersized to play outside, but he's very good at sticking with his man and being able to adjust when the receiver makes their breaks. So to me, this is something to definitely keep an eye on regarding Roger McCrary.
Now, can Wallace be that guy if you can get him up and running in time for Sunday?
Possibly, but I doubt they can get him up and running for Sunday. That would be a big ask to get a guy that you just pulled off the waiver wire up and going to do anything more maybe than covering a punt or a kickoff. So I don't even look for him to be active, to be honest with you. So, the other options would be to go with either Dane Cruikshank and move Molden to nickel. If McCrary can't go with Dane Cruikshank, go with Shaheem Carter. Some of those type of guys. Maybe Edmonds could fill in back there some. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation to see what they do in the first game without Kevin Byard, if they have to shift Elijah Molden elsewhere.
Just what they need, huh? More uncertainty in the defensive secondary.
Absolutely. And that's not exactly been an area of strength so far this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do against the Falcons. They're probably fortunate that even though the Falcons have some serious weapons like Drake London and Kyle Pitts, they're not a prolific passing team. They would rather run the football and use Bijan Robinson if they can, and then let everything else kind of work off of that. So they're probably lucky that they're not facing somebody like the Bengals or the Chargers that like to air it out this week.
Well, it's going to be interesting because, again, Desmond Ridder doesn't exactly instill a whole lot of fear into a defensive backfield, so that's good. Who's going to catch punts?
Good question. We were out there watching today during the open part of practice, and Kyle Phillips muffed another one in practice.
Jeez.
So this guy is really struggling with his confidence right now. I mean, the other options are this. Shai Smith, who's on the practice squad. Eric Garrer, who's on the practice squad. Colton Dowell has actually been back there practicing returning punts. That's kind of interesting. And I did not realize that was part of his resume at UT Martin.
I don't know that it was.
But he is back there, getting a look. But the other guy that's not getting a look to me, and this is completely confusing to me, because Kearis Jackson is probably your best option, but he's on injured reserve. Mason Kinsey, who's on the practice squad, he's not really in that mix right now. And I thought he did pretty well. I mean, I'm not here championing Mason Kinsey to say that he needs to be a regular in the receiver rotation or anything, but he can catch a punt. And that's something that right now is a need on this team.
Or just let it bounce. It is what it is.
What about Tajay Spears?
Possession inside the 5.
What about Spears, Terry?
Well, I think they're probably hesitant to use him back there. I think he's more of a kickoff return guy. He maybe could do punts, but I would think that they're hesitant to put a guy who's one of their better weapons on offense back there returning punts, because, returning punts is a dangerous job. You're going to get, unless you call fair catch, you're going to get smacked.
Every time.
Just catch it.
Not hard. Just catch it.
Just catch it.
That's all you got to do.
Yes. Craig Ackerman was asked today, it is alumni weekend, and I asked him, I said, he brought up the fact that Billy White Shoes Johnson was going to be there as part of the alumni. I said, are you tempted to ask him if he wants to go back there and catch punts?
Oh, good Lord. Colton did return some punts at Martin, for what it's worth. No.
All right.
This
You have
was
any
in high-
stats?
this
You
was
have
in
any
high
stats
school.
in
I'm
front of
sorry.
you, kind of average?
Hmm.
Do you have any stats or in front as far as any type of return yard average?
No. In fact, I'm thinking that might have been high school actually, as I'm weeding through his bio at utmsports.com. I don't know that he returned.
Those
At,
are much harder to catch than any high school punts. If you can catch a high school punch, you can catch anything.
Especially those that are coming off the side of somebody's foot and going 20
Right.
yards.
And they're end over end, or they're knuckleballs. I mean, heck, you're in good shape if you can catch a high school punt. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting week. Do we have any? What's the latest on the injury report?
Well, they haven't sent it out unless it's come out here in the last minute.
Okay.
If you'll allow me to check, I'll see if they've sent the email.
I don't see it out just
I don't
yet,
see it per
so.
se either. But Ryan Tannehill was not out there in the open part of practice. Josh Wiley was not out there in the open part of practice. McCrary was not out there. And then DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry also not out there, probably getting their customary Thursday rest.
Traylon Burks.
Traylon Burks was there. He was present and accounted for.
Good. Right, every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Yes.
No doubt. Especially when you're in a situation where we may or may not have, a number one receiver by next week.
You never know. I mean, at this point, you start to wonder, was the Byard thing just an isolated deal where they got something that they thought was a good return on it? Or do we think that this team is, setting everything ablaze and having a fire sale? So it's going to be interesting, because if there's going to be a fire sale, it's going to have to happen over the next 5 days.
The deadline is Tuesday. Trick or treat.
And the weird thing of that is too, that if you make another deal, there is no time to have practice reps with the new guy that you might get in, or somebody off the bench, or the practice squad that you're putting in there, because you're playing on Thursday in Pittsburgh. So there is no, full week of practice to get the next guy ready. You better have the next guy ready right now if you're going to make a deal and get rid of somebody.
Yeah, this is these short weeks, especially after the trade deadline, and not exactly perfect, especially for this brand of Titans. So, is Mike Vrabel calmed down yet, or is he still irritable?
We didn't get to talk to him today. They don't make him available on Thursdays. We'll find out tomorrow
Just as
and
well.
see what kind of mood he's in.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Tell us about Zen Sports, Terry.
All right. Zen Sports is the new sports book in Tennessee that's revolutionizing the way you earn sports betting rewards. With Zen Sports, your rewards are cash rewards. You bet with real money, and now you're rewarded with it too. Earn a whopping 5% cash back welcome bonus for your first 15 days when you sign up with code MAINSTREET, MAINST. Keep betting and keep earning every month after that with up to 3% cash back rewards on your betting volume. Best of all, you can earn cash commission on your referral bets with the Zen Sports Referral Rewards Program. Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-855-844-0445.
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow, Maurice Patton here with you on this Thursday. We are coming to you live from the Lee Company studio. We had our guest, but we lost him. So we are going to let you know that when we get Michael back, we'll talk a little bit about the Grizzlies. You were saying something off air. Is it something you can say on air? Before Terry?
What was I saying?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is. That's the unfortunate part of you working with an old guy.
Trust me, I know all about it. Let's see here. I want to look because I'm seeing a singular report.
Mm-hmm.
No, not singular anymore. Kamal Hadden, season-ending surgery.
On what?
I don't know.
Just season-ending surgery.
Season-ending surgery.
Who's reporting that?
I'm not Vol Scoops and nothing legitimate. Yeah, Caleb Giroux. How about that? Does that work? That's pretty legitimate.
Well,
he announced it on Instagram.
But we don't know what on.
No, he just he kind of gave a soliloquy on Instagram about how he's
shoulder surgery, according to Patrick Brown of 24 at P Brown 24/7. Kamal Hadden will miss the rest of the season after undergoing shoulder surgery.
There you go.
Also, Ben McKee reporting likewise. So, shoulder.
There we go. Now we know the rest of the story.
Here we go, Paul Harvey.
Yeah. Oh man, that is unfortunate. Kamal had been obviously he got a lot of heat for a couple of things. Obviously, the South Carolina game, which now makes a little bit more sense, and then his less than enthusiastic attempt at a tackle in the Florida game.
Kamal,
that being said, has been a significant part of the defensive backfield.
Well, he has been significantly better of late than he was. And I think what was so frustrating for so many people as it related to Kamal Hadden was his level of play and his level of trash talking did not match up.
Yeah, there were times where they did not, in fact, match up.
And I think that was the most frustrating thing for a large part of the UT fan base with Kamal. But I think they were getting closer to evening out. And that's, part of what makes this kind of frustrating now.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate because, obviously the defensive backfield is one of the trouble areas for this Tennessee team. And he was one of the brighter spots in it. So
it's amazing to me as I scroll through Twitter when I search Kamal Hadden, the number of people that just report season-ending surgery.
Well, he didn't say in his Instagram post.
Oh, well, that excuses it.
Well, I mean, if you're just trying to tweet it, then yeah, I mean, you can worry about getting the rest of it later. And, this is an unfortunate situation. I don't know if Tennessee can weather this against teams like Georgia. And the worst part is Missouri. You've got to somehow find a way to cover Luther Burden without your best defensive back.
Kamal Haddon is your best defensive back?
I think he is. So good luck to.
I don't know, but if he is your best defensive back, then you're probably worse off than you thought you were. So
I don't know. I don't know that he was that bad. Again, he got a lot of heat for South Carolina, but he certainly, as far as what he'd done recently, particularly, he's been really, really good. So anyway, last night the Memphis Grizzlies lost their season opener 111-104 to the New Orleans Pelicans.
not necessarily unexpectedly under the circumstances.
Not really. This, I wasn't, I wasn't going to sit here and say that they were supposed to lose necessarily. I still think they're really talented, and I don't think the Pelicans are as talented.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, when you straight up look at matchups, this is going to be a problem. So,
It is. And it's going to be a problem when this is your matchup. And one of the people that we seem to agree was going to need to step up for Memphis under the circumstances was Jaren Jackson Jr., who was 2 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 5 from 3, 8 points, 5 boards.
5 boards, probably not your favorite. Here's the thing. The Pelicans inside were 13 of 24. And that's including Zion's 9 of 17 as power forward. Valanciunas, 12 boards on defense. I mean, that's kind of where you look at this and you go, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't get rebounds. I mean, what?
Xavier Tillman had 12.
Xavier Tillman had 12, 4 of those offensive, which is great. But if you can't rebound the basketball, you can't win. And they were out rebounded 52-37.
Minus 15 isn't going to win you a lot of ball games.
I mean,
and you didn't get a lot of help off the bench either. Jake LaRavia, 2 points, 2 boards. David Roddy, 9 points, 5 boards. They only went 4 deep, which maybe that's all they had, with Aldama being out and, with
and
Kenneth Lofton didn't play.
Lofton didn't play. I mean, you don't have any forwards and you choose not to play one of the guys you do have. D Rose got 16 minutes. Is that more minutes than you were expecting from him?
I didn't really have a feel, but, without Ja, that's not, 16 minutes in a 48-minute game. I don't know that that's necessarily too much.
But I don't know. Without Ja Morant, yeah, I think you're probably right. I don't think he plays 16 minutes if Ja Morant's available.
No.
And so 3 of 11 from the floor. Why is he shooting 11 times? That'd be my first question.
Well, because he's a Derrick Rose.
Yeah, but sometimes, man, you gotta know your role. I know you've
And-
been Derrick Rose, but you are not Derrick Rose.
Well, if Marcus Smart is 6 of 11, then do you feel like you've got to pick up a little slack somewhere?
I think I'd have just found Desmond Bain and let him keep shooting it because dude was on fire.
11 of 22 from the floor, 5 of 10 from 3.
Yeah, I think I'd have just.
Yeah.
I'd have been the point guard and found my shooting guard.
Let Desmond cook. Huh?
let Des cook.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And is that the game plan going forward? I don't know. Apparently, Michael is having some issues with
Connectivity.
Yeah, and I don't know. Justin, can you call him? He's asked me if we could call him, and I thought that was you texting me. It was him. I apologize. And I sent you the number 5 minutes ago, man. Anyway. Is that the game plan going forward?
I think the game plan is that Triple J has to be more productive and more impactful.
I would agree with that. I mean, because look, this New Orleans team, I don't think this New Orleans team is going to win 40 ball games.
And that, I mean, it's game 1.
It is. And you had to come up with a game plan pretty quick. A new one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. So do we have Mike? All right, well, we will wait patiently. We will have time for about 2 questions. Go from there. But yeah, it's this is going to be an interesting season for the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
because
and it's tough because for the most part it feels like what they've got is what they've got.
Right. And forced 21 turnovers last night. Didn't turn the ball over. You feel like in a game where you have 13 turnovers to their 21, you feel pretty good.
But that minus 15 on the boards,
that you got to be able to rebound in the NBA. You got to be able to rebound. Period. And that is unfortunate. That's where we sit. So, all right. Mike is on. Go to Mike. Tough day out there in radio land, eh?
Hey, yeah. Can you guys hear me okay?
We hear you.
Yes, we hear you, Mike. Mike Wallace, part of the Memphis Grizzlies pregame show, now joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Mike, appreciate your diligence in getting on with us, first of all. We've been fascinated all week by the news regarding Steven Adams and the impact that's obviously going to have on this team all season and starting last night, I guess. But how do the Grizzlies go about trying to cover for his absence over an 82-game season?
Hey, first and foremost, man, thanks a lot for having me and reaching over to Memphis to get me back on, man. I appreciate it. I apologize for my technical difficulties on this side. Those of us with kids know, man, I'm literally in the car ride around kid pickup from middle school. So it's all good. So you won't be able to see me, but you can definitely hear me. It's a tough blow. It definitely is a tough blow because, on one hand, this team has been used to being without Steven Adams. He hadn't played since January. So they went, the better part of 40 games at the end of last playoff series without him. So it's not like they made the major adjustment to have him.
It was just more of the hope and the expectation that he would align everyone else because of what he brings. You were almost counting on being back to at least full strength from his perspective while you're still waiting on Ja. So to go from that, I mean, his absence changes the complexion of this team. You know, with Steven Adams, you're one of the top rebounding teams in the league. You led the league in points in the paint. You're one of the top second chance scoring teams off of offensive rebound. He's the best screen assist big man in the NBA based on analytics and metrics. And that freed up a lot of areas and space for a lot of your ball handlers and your downhill guys like Desmond Bain and John Morant. So without Steven, that's an enormous hole to fill because he calibrated everyone else. So that's the adjustment right there. You know, and what I go back to is, you know, and I got to take Taylor Jenkins in the front office at their word. Had he opted for surgery back in January when this first happened, there's a chance he would have missed this entire season anyway. So they wanted to go the best non-operative route, and that's what Steven wanted. And, you know, they agreed and they tried it all the way up until they didn't have any more time.
Who is most impacted by Steven's absence?
Hey, you guys still there?
Yeah, we're here, Mike. Sorry about that.
Okay. I apologize. I lost you again on that one. I don't know where I got off that. Yeah.
I was just asking you, who on this team currently is most impacted by Steven not being there?
Number one is Jaren Jackson, because now, you know, everything that Jaren wanted to do better, he was going to improve with having his big brother beside him, you know, to kind of cover up some things in the post. But now his rebounding issues have been exaggerated. Like when Jaren has a bad rebounding game, it's going to be, you know, you can't ignore it. You know, like last night, he had 0 rebounds and 0 points in the first half. That can't happen, especially when you're without Steven and you're without Ja. There has to be a better way for Jaren to get involved, and it's on the coaching staff to get him there. But it's also on Jaren to be aggressive and find his spots. So first and foremost, I would say Jaren. And then secondarily, it would be the point guards, you know, a Marcus Smart right now, a Derrick Rose, who definitely can benefit from having some extra space to operate in the pick and roll game when Steven is there, you know, blindsiding and completely evaporating guys from their view. So he would help them in there in sort of the mid-range game with the pick and roll. And Jaren Jackson Jr. could be helped at the basket and underneath with Steven Adams.
You know, Mike, as Chris and I discussed this developing situation for the Grizzlies, we talked a lot about Jaren Jackson Jr. having to be something that he isn't necessarily with Steven Adams out.
It is, you know, it's you know, he's 7 feet, he's athletic, he can jump, he leads the league in block shots. So if you can reach up and block a shot, you probably should be able to reach up and grab a rebound right now. I mean, I know you can't do both at the same time. Otherwise, you'd be Bill Russell and in the Hall of Fame with 9 championship rings or 11 or whatever, how many ever he had. But there's got to be a better way for him to be effective, you know, and being that size. So Jaren has gotten better, in particularly interior wise. His footwork and his timing has improved drastically from just 2 years ago. So it's just a matter of, okay, now I have the opportunity and the onus is on me. And I think that's what he has to go into this season believing. And he's already said as much.
It's just one game, but were you surprised Kenneth Lofton didn't play last night?
You know, that's what, you know, I got that question several times throughout all of our shows on Grind City Media is, am I surprised? Not really. I mean, Kenny Lofton has never been a part of the rotation. But now your depth is at such a critical point where when you're losing and you're not rebounding and you're not scoring particularly well in the half court, why not try to use, you know, somebody who's available on the bench? I don't think Taylor's going to be stubborn at all in this approach. I think when he feels comfortable and Kenny Lofton is going to be able to take on the defensive assignments, then he's going to be used. You know, Kenny Lofton is a 6'8", 6'9", you know, 280-pound guy. You don't miss him sitting on the bench. You choose not to use him if that's the case, right? He's not hiding.
You didn't look down there and not see him, right?
Yeah, you're not going to not see him. So Taylor has to work on that, and that's something that he's going to explore. And when Kenny Lofton's number is called, he's going to come in and at least change up the vibe and the energy of a game one way or another. But hopefully, he'll get his call, he'll get his shot, and when he gets it, he needs to take advantage of it.
Michael Wallace joining us here. Michael, it's going to be a tough 25 games. How do the Grizzlies survive?
Well, survival is relative, right? So, do you want to survive and then go 5-20? No. Can you survive it and try to stay as close to 500 as possible? You can't afford any more injuries. And that's the one thing that we knew, is that the margin was so thin when it came to error. You can't miss anyone else. And as soon as, the 2 days after you hear about Steven Adams being done for the season, you hear about Santi Aldama not being available. And one more injury cripples your rotation. And so the Grizzlies can't afford to have any more guys missing or out. And that's a lot to ask over a 2-month stretch for everybody to stay healthy. But if they stay relatively healthy, then they can tread water. The schedule favors them in the first half of the season. But also the West is far more competitive than what a lot of teams thought. So it's not gonna be easy, but I think if they can stay somewhere around 10-15 to 12 to 13-12, if they could do that, then I think they're in good shape.
Michael Wallace joining us here, Grind City Media. Follow him at MyMikeCheck. Michael, we'll let you get those kids and get home, man. We appreciate you taking time with us and look forward to talking with you again soon. And hopefully with better luck from the Grizzlies next time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll do it again real soon, man. Thank you guys and take care.
Appreciate it, Mike.
All right, let's take a break. We've got 10 high school football games to pick. We're going to do that on the other side of it. So stick around. Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, is back in a moment.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtvj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao and Maurice Patton here as we are getting ready to pick 10 of the biggest high school football games from across the state, or I'm sorry, the mid-state. We start, Mo. Let's see here. If I can get it to pull up.
We start in our backyard.
That's right. The border battle. Independence is at Summit. That's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Independence, we believe, has Luke McNeely back.
I was told earlier in the week that Luke McNeely would be back for this game by the person who would make that decision.
Okay. Well, that helps.
So,
because otherwise, I might have to change my pick.
yeah.
Oh, man. The Summit comes into this one, and this is for 3 and 4, by the way. Winners 3, losers 4.
Mm-hmm.
And now both teams are in the playoffs for sure, no matter what. But this is for whether or not you go to Smyrna or Antioch. And so
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure it matters.
I wouldn't disagree.
I would not be at all surprised to see a Region 6-6A sweep.
Me either.
That said, I like Independence close in this ballgame. Just because I think defensively, they figure out a way to slow Summit down just enough. And Landrick Majewski, the kicker, has been big for them when called upon. And this might be a kicker type night here.
Well, I've got him by a field goal. So
I've got him by 4.
I'm with you. Tullahoma at Shelbyville. This is for the region championship. The City Cats and the Golden Eagles. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting game because Tullahoma has the ability to be really physical, and I don't think Shelbyville has. The 2 times that I think they've been hit in the mouth, they've not responded well. So I'm curious how they're going to respond in this one.
Tullahoma's physical. Shelbyville's fast. I think Shelbyville's big playability out on the edge makes a difference in this one. And I'm not saying Tullahoma can't catch Shelbyville, but I'm saying you're harder to hit when you're running away. I like Shelbyville in this one.
Shelbyville likes to run the ball off tackle. They don't do a whole lot of stretching and sweeping though, which is and they've got a great sophomore running back who is just absolutely bruising between the tackles as well. And he's bound to break one, but I don't think he breaks enough. From what I've seen of Shelbyville in the 1.5 times I've seen them play, I think it's Tullahoma. I'm going to go with the City Cats. Marshall County at Pearl-Cohn. Is this one for the region title as well?
I believe so.
This one should be fun. Always, when these two get together, it's certainly for something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, both 6-0 in the region. This is for 1 and 2. Winner is 1, loser is 2. Should be a good game.
I don't know how often Marshall County has won in this series, but I don't think they win tomorrow night.
Yeah, I don't know that they've ever won it, and I'm with you. I think the Firebirds get it done. You know, I'll be honest with you. After week 1, Marshall County's 16-0 win against Columbia Central. I didn't think Marshall County was going to be as good in 2023 as they have been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And yet,
but here we are.
8-1, just as good. Osteen has got them rolling.
Quietly.
One
of the best coaches in Middle Tennessee.
I don't think there's any question. So I'm going to go with Pearl Cone. Another region championship. Nolensville at Page. That's tonight, folks. So if you are heading to Arno Road, you better start now because probably going to be a lot of folks headed that way tonight as well.
Get on out there. You might run into Jackson Boone.
You might run into Jackson Boone. Who knows? Yeah, this is for. Well, I say it's for the region title. I guess
depending on who, maybe. I mean, I guess if Nolensville wins and Centennial wins, you got a 3-way tie.
Nope. Well, you would, but Nolensville would still be the one because they would have the highest. The Centennial 7-2. Nolensville would be 9-1. So they would get the 1 seed over both 8-2 Page and 8-2.
And then Page would be the 2 seed by virtue of their 24-12 win last week over Centennial.
Yeah, so I think Centennial is
Centennial's rooting for Page.
Centennial is rooting for Page, but they got to get a win too.
They
got to beat Hillsboro to stay out of that 4-hole.
Mm-hmm.
So look out. This is going to be a good one, though. This is a region championship game. Page hosting Nolensville tonight.
We've talked about comparing scores and how foolish it can be. But again, the common denominator here is Centennial. Centennial defeated Nolensville. Centennial lost to Page. I'm going with the Patriots at home.
This one will be broadcast live on Main Street Media Radio. So if you're out there listening, you can hear the golden tones of Wade Neely, who did not pick the game.
Because
he will be on the broadcast. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the homestanding Patriots because, as I understand it, I don't know this to be a fact. I'm just saying what I heard. Nolensville's quarterback is out.
That would be a factor.
And if that is, in fact, true, give me Page all day. So, all right, what is that? That was 4. That's 4, which means, we started in our backyard. We end in our backyard in this segment. Loretto at Mount Pleasant 4, again, a region championship. Ish.
Technically, Loretto can wrap up a region championship. They can also wrap up their first undefeated season since 1991 with a victory.
We're going to party like it's 1991. Let's go. Let's do it.
Mount Pleasant, with a win, still needs some help.
From teams that they've played.
Well, from team that they beat, because they need Waverly to beat Lewis County.
Well, they do need. We don't know what they need. If they need that, if they get some other help from other teams, such as Donaldson Christian, and this region's a mess.
It's murky.
Just let the TWSAA sort it out on Saturday.
Just check out the brackets and see who does what is going to be your best bet on Region 5-2A. Because trying to really figure out who needs what, particularly if Loretto, even if Loretto does win, then 2-3-4 is still a mess. Loretto, Mount Pleasant,
Well, if Lewis County beats Waverly, it's Loretto, Lewis County, Mount Pleasant, Waverly.
That's the cleanest.
That's the cleanest way. Is Loretto wins, Lewis County
Lewis-
wins, and we can go to the house.
I'll let you deal with Kid Hartsfield.
I'm just saying, like, that's the way that we don't have to do any thinking.
Well, Kid
That's what Matthew Gillespie and Bradley are
Bradley
they're
Lambert.
hoping for.
Well, Kid would prefer that everybody have to do some thinking.
I bet he would.
Yeah, so
And that's what you think is going to happen?
I think they're going to have to work deep into the night to figure this one out. I feel like, we've got an article up on the website at mainstreetmurray.com regarding Darian Mesa, who we've talked about a lot on this show and on our preview show as well, the Main Street Murray High School Football Preview Show, where we'll be talking more about this. Darian Mesa has 5 returns for touchdowns in his last 4 games.
I'm going to tell you that he will not touch it on special teams tomorrow night.
I'm going to tell you there's no way he won't.
Well, one,
I think
Patton Simbeck can put it in the end zone.
he can.
And 2, Loretto's not going to punt. 34-28 Mustangs.
Okay, I've got 42-38 Mount Pleasant because I think he makes a play somewhere. We'll see how it goes.
Take a 1-minute break. When we come back, 5 more games, including the game of the week, Battle of the Borough, right after this on Main Street Sports Today. Stick around.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. She's on Thinking Out Loud, presented by Regions, and Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang. It is, in fact, Alyssa Lang.
I'm a little nervous. I'm going to lower the bar for guests now.
Oh, no.
Like, apologies in advance. It sounds like
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey.
You got that radio voice.
I do.
It's a good sound.
Thanks for radio too.
As do we. And then here's the other thing. You guys, you're spot on with the name. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. So,
And we reach every Main Street in Middle Tennessee, Coach.
yeah, that's it. So
Perfect.
when you are on Main Street and you are moving,
You gotta love it.
like you're moving, I was impressed.
I'm glad someone.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. 5 more games to pick, and we're going to do it now as we go into
Another
Division 2.
Thursday night game.
Division 2, Thursday night, 7 o'clock tonight. Montgomery Bell Academy hosting the Eagles of Brentwood Academy. This is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than others may think, but Blaine Keller goes out on the limb.
Significant limb.
The lone Brentwood Academy pick is I've got Montgomery Bell Academy in this one.
I've got Montgomery Bell Academy in this one by more than 1. I've actually got them by 2 scores. And Brentwood Academy's struggling.
They are, but if this season has taught me anything about this region, it's that you don't ever know what's going to happen.
I feel like I got a pretty good idea what's going to happen in this one. I got the big red.
All right. Lebanon at Gallatin, Green Wave hosting BDP Blue Devil Pride, and this should be a good game. I'm with Russell Venozzi on this one. I don't know what it is, man. It must be because I'm friends with Justin, but I got Lebanon in this one.
I guess this means I'm not friends with Justin because I've got Gallatin in this one. 1, playing at home. 2, I just think they're playing better ball right now than Lebanon heading into the postseason. I've got the Green Wave.
Another Division II matchup. This one in Division II, 2A. Davidson Academy's at Christ Presbyterian, and the Lions are, let's just say, they've been rolling for quite a while now. And This one, however, does have some playoff implications as Davidson Academy and CPA both sit at 4-1. A win would create a three-way tie at the top.
Between them and who?
FRA and CPA and Davidson Academy.
Okay. All right.
All three 8-1 right now.
CPA beat Franklin Road Academy.
They did.
And I guess Franklin Road Academy beat Davidson.
They did.
Okay. All right. I think one of the biggest hallmarks of an Ingle Martin team is the way they get better as the year goes. And I think the Lions are playing some of their best ball right now. And I think they get it done here in this coaching matchup between former NFL quarterbacks. I like CPA here.
I've got CPA by a point because I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I did the give them $1 and hope someone else figures it out. Ravenwood, Brentwood, Battle of the Woods. This one should be fun. We talked to Will Hester earlier. Make sure to go back and see that if you were not watching earlier, make sure to go back and check that out. I had some great things to say. The winner of this one will take control of the overall series, not the Battle of the Woods series. The overall series is tied 12-12, including 4 playoff games. But Brentwood does hold the regular season advantage. They're also undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is also, stop me if you've heard this, for a region championship.
Yeah, it's kind of been a theme. I like Brentwood to finish up undefeated. I've got the Bruins in this one. I think between that defense that Will Hester was talking about and Baylor Hayes at quarterback, I think the Bruins at home figure out a way to get it done.
Do you think that when these guys have the meeting, which I know Brentwood and Ravenwood are always going to play at the end, but like Mount Pleasant, Loretto, like there's a lot of games that are region championship games tonight. And I wonder if that was done intentionally or
I think it was just, well, I mean, you can't know.
No, but I mean, but when you're putting the schedule together, you go, okay, these two teams are probably going to be, in the hunt for a championship. And these two, and Lewis County, Waverly, it's not like Lewis County's playing East Hickman tonight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny how
it's interesting.
The teams that are really, in it. It's a week 11, and we got a lot of region title games tonight.
Yeah.
That's it. That is interesting. Anyway.
It is interesting. I don't know how it comes about. I don't know if it's by design or if it's just dumb luck. But this next one.
Well, I've got Ravenwood in this one, actually. I'm the lone Raptor pick.
There you go.
I just feel like, Will's going to dial something up tonight.
Okay.
Battle of the Borough, Oakland hosting Riverdale. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock should be fun.
I just think Oakland's got too much firepower even for Riverdale. I know Riverdale's got the quarterback, Braden Graham, who's playing some really good ball right now, but I think Oakland's at another level.
Oakland has certainly been at another level for a while now. Obviously, Riverdale kind of, they got off to kind of a slow start with that loss at Henry County. Then they went over to Germantown and got beat, but they've certainly turned it on here as, region play has gotten going. I've got Oakland too, because again, look, I'm not betting against Kevin Creasy. I'm not going to do it.
Until they get beat.
Until somebody makes me. So there you go. Those are our picks. Those are our picks here on Main Street Sports today. If you want to see the rest of the staff's picks, MainStreetPreps.com has those. So make sure to go check those out. We are going to be back tomorrow. We've got a couple of great guests lined up for you.
You can also hear more about our Loretto Mount Pleasant thoughts, among others, on the Main Street Murray High School Football Preview Show.
Independent Summit.
At 6:15 prior to that Battle of the Woods broadcast on Main Street Media TV.
That's correct. So make sure to tune in wherever you watch Main Street Media TV, Roku, Apple products, Android products, Apple TV, Fire Stick, all of those things. Tomorrow we have couple of good guests lined up for you. We've got
new
New
basketball
Wilburn,
born.
and we're going to talk a little bit about Penn State and the state of Penn State.
There we go.
And so it's going to be fun. Obviously, Terry will join us as well. We'll make our college football picks. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come back with us. Follow Mo tonight if you are interested in high school football here in Southern Middle Tennessee. He'll be at Columbia Academy. I'll be retweeting, of course.
Chip Cirillo joins the party. He will be at Lindsey Nelson Stadium for Columbia Central and Lincoln County.
And like I said, I'll be retweeting everybody from Main Street Sports Today Twitter account, MS_Sports Today. So follow us as well. And we will see you guys tomorrow, right here, same bat time, same bat channel, 2 o'clock. Main Street, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Come back with us then.